They appear at your window at night and stare directly at you with their soulless black eyes. They ask to be let in, but once inside, who knows what they'll do. These mysterious children aren't from this world. They're known as the black-eyed children. And today we look at some of the most terrifying encounters people have had with them. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button for more videos about scary things that may lurk in our world. Let's begin. It all started in the 1990s. For several years, there were numerous reports of something strange happening around the world. A family would hear a knock on their door in the middle of the night. When they opened it, they'd find two children standing there. They always looked to be around 10 or 12 years old and wore old-fashioned clothing like 1940s-style dresses and hats. But it was their eyes that truly terrified people. The kids had no whites or irises, only bottomless black pits. Without saying a word, the children stared directly at the person who opened the door, entrancing them with their soulless gaze. At first, people assumed the children were lost or needed help, so they invited them in. It was then they realized something was very wrong. The children never spoke. They just walked through the house eerily silently, sometimes levitating up and down stairs. After a few minutes, they'd leave just as silently as they'd arrived, walking straight through closed doors and windows. At first, these encounters were written off as an elaborate hoax. But then, similar stories began popping up all over the world. People were stunned when they learned others were having the same experience. It seemed like the so-called black-eyed children were everywhere. In July of 1996, Russian author Sergei Lukyanin encountered the mysterious children, described them as ugly, emaciated creatures with long fingers and necks. Their eyes burned like hot coals. He could feel their icy gazes boring into him, but he couldn't look away. According to Sergei, the children spoke in monotone voices and asked to be let inside his home. When he refused, they vanished. A few weeks later, he heard scratching sounds in his attic every night. Then one morning he woke up covered in scratches. His wife also had strange marks on her body. Though she'd been sleeping with the windows open, somehow the children had managed to crawl in and mark them up. Sergei believed these strange occurrences stopped when he blessed his home with holy water. That same year, Brian Bethel witnessed something similar while visiting New York City. He was staying in a hotel room with his wife when he heard footsteps pacing back and forth outside their door. At first, it sounded like someone was trying to break in. Then the footsteps stopped. Moments later, the doorknob turned and the door opened slightly. Brian looked out and saw the creepiest pair of children staring back at him. They wore dirty clothes and had coal black eyes that seemed to devour him. Instinctively, Brian slammed the door shut and locked it. To this day, he has no idea what those children wanted. Some encounters have been even scarier. On January 28, 2001, Brandy Lee Mannion was driving home late at night when a pair of children stepped out in front of her car. She slammed on the brakes, but they kept walking. As if she hadn't even stopped, they reached the trunk of her car and knocked on it. Brandy rolled down her window and asked if they needed help. One of the children turned and looked at her, revealing its jet black eye. Brandy screamed and sped away. She felt like the child had put a curse on her, because soon after, she began experiencing strange events. Animals would randomly bite her, candles would fall off shelves and break. Her coworkers became hostile, and she began suffering panic attacks. After a week, the symptoms stopped. After hearing Brandy's story, many similar reports surfaced. People described having disturbing run-ins with the black-eyed children, usually in their own driveway, or while exiting their car. In February of 2004, two girls were sitting in their car in the parking lot when a group of 3 children approached. They were dressed in clothes that appeared to be from another era. One of the girls rolled down her window and asked the children if they wanted some candy. When they leaned in to answer, she noticed their eyes were pitch black. Terrified, she slammed the window back up and locked the car doors. The children pounded on the roof until the girl's father came out and chased them away. However, not everyone is so lucky. In April of 2005, a man named Victor was driving home late at night when he saw 2 children by the side of the road. Feeling sorry for them, he stopped to offer them a ride. When he did, one of the kids got in the car and sat in the back seat. The other child stood outside the window and continued staring at him with her soulless eyes. Victor tried to ignore her and focus on driving, but he could feel her intense gaze boring into his skull. Eventually, the child in the back seat turned around and revealed she also had bottomless black eyes. Victor freaked out and slammed on the brakes, causing both children to fall forward. He screamed and ran away. There are also reports of the black-eyed children simply standing outside people's homes staring directly at them. In November of 2007, Melissa Brewer was home alone when her daughter came running into the living room, screaming, "Mommy, there's a monster outside." Melissa went to the window and saw the creepiest little girl staring back at her. She had pale skin, dirt all over her body, and her eyes seemed to be filled with hatred. As Melissa watched, the girl vanished. That night, Melissa dreamed of the girl who told her, let me in," over and over again. When she awoke, she found scratches on her arms and face. Soon after, her dog died for no apparent reason. Melissa believed the girl had cursed her. Since these encounters typically occur at night, many believe the black-eyed children only come out after dark, but that may not necessarily be true. In May of 2011, Sarah Jensen was driving home from work when she saw two children standing next to a broken-down car. She stopped to see if they needed help. When she did, they approached her car and one of them knocked on the window. Sarah rolled it down and asked if they needed assistance. The child stared at her blankly and said, "Let me in." Horrified, Sarah slammed the window shut and locked the doors. The child's eyes were terrifying. There was no white part, and the irises were pure black. She watched as they retreated to the broken-down car and disappeared inside. These encounters are terrifying, but there are even more disturbing claims about the black-eyed children. Many witnesses have reported strange illnesses and afflictions following their encounters. This may include nosebleeds, cancer, respiratory problems, memory loss, and hallucinations. In some cases, it seems like the mere presence of these entities is enough to sicken people. Many also claim their pets become violently ill or pass away after seeing the black-eyed children. Others report their electronics stop working for no reason. Lights flicker and appliances break. In some instances, paranormal investigators have attempted to capture these entities on camera. However, each time the cameras seem to malfunction, preventing any footage from being captured. Perhaps the most haunting accounts involve the black-eyed children entering people's homes. Those who let them in claim they appear normal at first, but then they begin levitating around the house. Furniture moves by itself, and objects are thrown across the room. Victims claim these children have incredible strength and power. Sometimes they vanish and reappear in different rooms, and sometimes they seem to trap people inside their own homes. Some even claim their loved ones have been replaced by doppelgangers. These doppelgangers act and think like the original person, but their eyes are filled with darkness. Author John Keel investigated numerous bizarre phenomena during his lifetime, including the Mothman sightings in West Virginia. He claimed the black-eyed children may be interdimensional beings, who can travel through rifts in space-time. Another theory suggests they are demons preying on people's fears. However, no one truly knows what these terrifying creatures are, or where they come from. What do you think these children might be? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on our most terrifying videos.